Real quick show of hands right off the top here. How many of you can name these four individuals? I'm sure some of you might have a vague recognition of perhaps one of them. What if I told you that if these four individuals were allowed to have a national platform and speak about the truth of what the internet is really about, they could change the face of it forever? It's a story that, well, not a popular one, to be very truthful, but it needs to be told. Unfortunately, if we were to reveal that story here on YouTube, it would be the end of this channel. And right now, simply just can't afford that. Now, for those of you who did recognize who those men were, yes, I know. I'm going to hell. As soon as I die, I'm going to land at the end of this very fiery bridge, make my way over the teetering chasm full of lava all the way down Damnation Drive to the little hovel I have set aside at Hellfire Court for the rest of eternity, and that's where I burn. I know this, so you don't need to remind anyone in the comments section. However, for those of you who would like more information about those four gentlemen and what they know, join us in the next, I'm going to say 48 to 72 hours. Usually it's 24 to 48 hours. In the next 2 to 3 days, I'm going to have that video up and posted because it's complicated. And it's very, very unpopular. And even over there, we can take the gloves off, but we still have to be very careful because we just never know. Vimeo is great for keeping Google's censoring prying eyes away, but sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I really wonder. It's only $1 US at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. That's the lowest allowable level. Fully refundable. Fully refundable. First 90 days. No questions asked. The videos over there are very, very different. And to those of you who have already signed up, God bless you. Thank you so much. It means more than you know. It's making the difference right now. Also, as a quick reminder, 22nd of August, which is the 12-year anniversary of the channel, I will be drawing 2 names out of a hat. Everybody gets 1 entry. And I will be sending out the last 2 known in existence Florida Maquis coffee mugs. One side says Masters of the Mind. The other side says Destroying the Illusion. Has the channel logo with the word Maquis in the middle. So just wanted to let everyone know, everyone who's over there is entered now. Something very strange is going on, and I'd like to ask my audience your opinion of this. We hear all of these stories about, fentanyl this, fentanyl that, fentanyl the other, and the border. Well, those who are bringing this stuff here aren't doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're not doing it because they just like making the news. They're doing it for money. There's this story out there that people are having a hard time paying their bills and people don't have any money and things are tough and it's never been this bad. Where are people getting the money to buy the drugs? You see, when I start seeing the drug dealers packing up shop and heading the other direction, that's when I'll know the economy is really bad. Here's another statistic. State lotteries in the United States, 2009 to 2022. People are buying lottery tickets at a record rate. There was a slight dip 2019 to 2020, but allegedly with now what people are referring to incorrectly as record inflation, state sales of lottery tickets are way, way, way up. Where are people getting the money for that luxury? And these folks out in California are on strike. They've decided to walk away from their jobs. Now, what if I told you there was another time when this happened? Why does this matter? Because it's going to reveal something that's going to blow your mind. You see, way back in 1980, SAG-AFTRA, the Actors and Writers Union out in Hollywood, went on strike as well. And they were complaining basically the same thing. The Alliance, Disney, MGM, unfair to actors. They wanted a living wage in California. Now, you ready? Oh, by the way, really great video from the Patriot Nurse earlier today, talking about doing what you can do to survive and get by and about growing whatever you can grow. We're going to talk about this in a minute. There's one specific thing that you can grow that is super easy, full of nutrition, and you can grow it indoors. You don't need very much, and it's the best thing in the world, but we're going to get to that at the end. Here's the inflation chart, 1960 to 2023. What do you notice back here? See, here's 2023, 4.7. This is actually, what is this, hold on, this is 2021, 4.7. But back in the 70s, low inflation would have been 72, 3.27%. But by 73, it was 6. Up to 11 in 74. Now remember, this is pre-Carter. These years right here, 71, 2, 3, and 4, Gerald Ford was president. Carter didn't take over until 75. And it was 9. And then it went down to 5. And then, of course, it went up again to 13.55% back in 80. I was 10 years old here. I remember this. These were not good times. Not good times at all. Then it collapsed, went down to 3% again. But then during the 80s, it kind of meandered. 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. And you see here, all of a sudden in the 2000s, it goes way down, and it's in the 2s and 3s. And even in, what year was it, 2009, it dropped into the negative range. But then it still stayed low in the 3 to 2% range. Where is the chart with inflation? Here it is. That takes us to 2023. In 2021, it was 4.7. 2022, it got up to 8. But that was it in 22. Now it's down to 3%. But in 80, inflation was 13.5%. There were 5 years. There were 5 years where it was worse than it is now. Back in the 80s. So I guess that just kind of, it debunks a lot of what's being said out there. Yes, it's as bad as it's been in a long time. But compared to ever, no. These were the government cheese years. These were where people were working full-time jobs and still had to go out to the trailer, the big semi-trailer they had backed up and get government cheese. Things were way worse. Way, way, way worse. Now, what's that thing that you can grow that is basically the gift that keeps on giving? It's spinach. This is water spinach. This is an article about how you can boost your health. 7 really great reasons to do it. Great weight loss food. Blood circulation. Skin will look great. Less stressed. Bones become stronger. You'll recover better from injuries. Eyesight becomes better. All this is true. All this is true. There's also red Malabar spinach that's a growing, something you put on a trellis, and it just grows like wildfire. And here's the key. You eat the leaves. So it's a plant that just keeps growing and growing and growing, and you just keep eating the leaves off of it. And like I said, can be grown indoors. Egyptian spinach, if you live in a hotter region like down here in Florida, full of nutrition. And once again, as a lot of people like to grow tomatoes and grow things that put out some type of a fruit or a root vegetable. Especially root vegetables take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of specific soil conditions, and the amount of effort it takes just to get 1 or 2 carrots is intense. It really is. Whereas with something like spinach, it's easy. It's absolutely super, super easy to grow. It's cheap to get started. And like I said, you can grow it indoors, and it can make an enormous difference in your life. I mean, let's see what they got here. I mean, it's got calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium. It's basically nature's multivitamin. So I just wanted to cover this today. This is, of course, everyone's goal, to have head on the pillow with things paid in full. And the reason I brought up the SAG-AFTRA strike way back in the 80s was because it led to something. You see, when all of these actors and actresses were out of work and they weren't making any money, they did whatever they had to do to get by. There's a recent story about a very popular singer, I'm trying to remember who it was, who was waiting tables at Waffle House. But there was one of these individuals that got into an industry because they were down to one can of beans and a bag of potatoes. And that was it. It was either go into a certain industry or be homeless, be destitute, and be on the street perhaps. You see, we're not quite there yet. We have people who have all sorts of money for all sorts of mind-altering substances and lottery tickets still. So, I mean, if they can't buy enough drugs or they can't buy enough lottery tickets, I guess you could probably complain about that. But what's going on now is very different than what was going on then. There was an article, where was it? Hold on. I might have lost it. I hope I didn't. I had an article up from, here it is, through the roof. June 21, 1992. And I'll give you a link to this article from the LA Times talking about how apartments are just too costly these days. People are having to live together. People are having to double up and triple up. For many Californians, finding shelter the past decade has meant doubling up with friends or moving in with relatives as soaring housing costs claimed a bigger chunk of income. According to a recent Census Bureau report, median California household income, get ready to laugh here, rose 96% over that time to $35,798. By contrast, the median mortgage payment jumped 162%. And the median monthly rent, 119%. The median in California, with condo fees and everything, $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. The national average was $702. California's median rent was $620. Nationwide, it was $424. In 1990. And they're talking about here how people just could not afford to go out and get a place of their own. And how horrible it was in 90. In Ventura County, one of the nation's wealthiest, the median household of 3 people in 1980 was already well above the national median of 2.75. Yet the household size grew slightly to 3 people by 1990, as the county's median home value, this was the average in Ventura County, $245,000. Just absolutely mind-blowing. The numbers just from 30 years ago. So, like I said, I'm not trying to be contradictory. She talks, the Patriot Nurse, about how people are having a hard time, how rough it is. And I agree, a lot of people haven't seen these times because they're young. Their entire life experience, they were born after 1980. They were born in the Reagan years. And now they're 30, 35, 40 years old. They didn't know that previous decade. And there's people out there older than me that were adults that lived through this. And I just wonder where they all are. Why they aren't saying, hey, hold on a minute. Yeah, things are bad. Yeah, things aren't, as good as they have been. But let's compare apples to apples here. Back in the 70s, not even close. Not even close to what was going on then. Just from 74, 11, 9, 5, 6.5, 7, 11, 13, 10, and 6, going to 82. We've had, it was 1.1 in 1990, 1.2 in 20. We had 4.7 in 21. 4.7 in 21, and $8 in 22, and 2.97 in 23. So it's just not the same thing. Not even close. So I will leave it there. But yes, I know, of course, talking about controversial things, a lot of people would like to see me do it here on YouTube, but all of those people don't have my, time invested in this channel, and I don't want to lose it. So yeah, I'm probably going to hell. I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way so you don't have to elucidate about, my need for salvation, so to speak. It's probably beyond that at this point. But those of you who have joined us at Patreon, God bless you once again. Thank you so much. I very, very much appreciate it. The next video that we're going to be putting out next 24 to 72 hours will be at the $1 level. This won't be a $5 level video. It'll be a $1 level video. But trust me when I tell you, it's going to change some minds. It's going to wake some people up. So I will leave it there. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a great week. Pray for each other. Lift each other up. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.